What's happening, guys? Nate and Scott with Play Your Court. Do you have a ton of power but you can't control it? Then you're in the right place. Let's talk about that today. And so what ends up happening a lot of times is that players don't have enough spin. But that's not what we're going to talk about today, because there's plenty of players that are successful flattening out the ball and they can control it.
This is more just body control, not
That's what we're jumping
control.
in today. And I think it's really important to differentiate what we see on TV and what we're doing. Are the pros jumping in a lot of moving parts? Sure. But what they're doing is keeping their head perfectly still and controlling their body. So we're going to talk about the head first, and then we're going to talk about the non-dominant side of your body and how important that is when you're trying to control the power, controlled aggression.
All right, so the first thing we've got to talk about when trying to hit the ball bigger but staying under control is the role the head plays in the stability of all of this. When you're hitting your forehand, I want you to think about your head as the axis that your body rotates around, meaning it's going to be very still through the process. So as I set up, you're going to notice my left shoulder under my chin. As I hit that forehand, my head stays steady, and you'll now see my right shoulder ends up underneath my chin. A common mistake we see is players lifting that head too soon when they're attempting to swing bigger or generate more racket head speed. That's gonna cause the ball to fly. So a big component to really staying under control and still hitting the ball bigger is keeping that head still and swinging shoulder to shoulder.
Now that we know the role of the head and the importance of keeping it still to make sure you're keeping balance, let's talk about the non-dominant side. Oftentimes when we're trying to create racket head speed, hence power, we just focus on the hitting arm, or maybe the right side, maybe the right leg. The left side as a righty, the non-dominant side, plays a huge role in what's happening with the stroke, especially when we talk about controlling it. So when we're setting up to hit our forehand using the two L's, we talk about this joint position and then the second L on the hitting side. As I turn, I'm creating this coil, and as I uncoil, I want to make sure that the left hand is in a position that it doesn't work away from my body too early. We like to call this the Batman with the kids, right? Imagine the cape, the arm up to here, or the Dracula, but we don't want to scare the kids, so we say Batman, right? But from here, the arm pulls to this part of the body up to the chest, and what's going to happen is it's going to allow a controlled uncoil, and ironically, as the left side slows down, the right side will speed up. And so you'll see a bunch of different finishes. Oftentimes, as the left hand goes from here, we watch Federer work through, the hand will drop and clear. But there's a lot of different styles here. Players that hit with more of a straight arm as it comes through, what you're gonna see, take Diego Schwartzman for example, as he comes through, a lot of times his chest is open and his hand is up, but it's still controlling that left side of the body. So the big takeaway here is to make sure you keep the left hand to the chest or work away, but don't allow the left hand to collapse, because then this is gonna work like a rudder and it's gonna cause you to over-rotate, losing control. Just as bad as the hand crossing up the body as you hit and then trying to uncoil, that's gonna create inconsistencies as well.
So remember guys, if you want to have big power but still stay under control, keep that head still, think about swinging shoulder to shoulder.
And remember, the left side of the body, it's important. As it slows down, the right side speeds up, but you don't want to lose control of that left arm or your non-dominant arm, or it's going to act like a rudder and pull the boat somewhere you're not planning it to go.
That's right, guys. So make sure you get out on the court and practice this stuff. Speaking of practice, if you need somebody to practice with, make sure you check out the Play Your Court community. We'll help you meet evenly matched players for practice and matches. We'll see you guys soon.